This year is the Vic Juba's 20th anniversary since opening back in 2002. The longtime community building has become a cornerstone for Lloydminster's arts and culture community. On Thursday, they gathered members of the community to showcase what's next to come. Here's Marcus Taylor.
The lunch launch event at the Vic Juba was nothing short of impressive. Community members gathered to enjoy not only lunch, but a preview to the jam-packed schedule for the upcoming year. General Manager Jen McConnell cited the community engagement when talking about the success of the Vic Juba.
I don't have to tell you that we're extremely lucky to have this level of quality here. You already know. Your community rallied to build this place. We're ready to rock Lloydminster residents this year with a star-studded lineup filled with local and legendary talents.
Marketing coordinator Bridget Walsh showcased the upcoming lineup, a star-studded schedule spanning from Steve-O to the Edmonton Pops Orchestra, and also thanked the community.
We thank you all for your continued support of our entertainment venue. We are so proud of the legacy of the last 20 years and are looking forward to the next 20 and beyond.
We also got a first look at the theater's new projector and a preview of the acts to come. Vic Juba has partnered with many local restaurants in the border city for the year, so keep an eye out for the Vic Juba QR code coasters at your favorite restaurant for a chance at discounted tickets. Marcus Taylor, Primetime Local News.
Vacation time is ending and the weather is changing. The school year has come full circle. And with that, the Lloydminster Rcmp are sending out a reminder to residents. Our Shelby Clark spoke with them on school zones and how people can drive or walk to get to class safely.
Joining us today for Primetime Local News is Constable Melanie Flynn with the Lloydminster Rcmp. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Shelby.
Of course, glad to be able to have you on here because now it is time with the school year right around the corner. It's coming up real quick here. The Lloydminster Rcmp are wanting to give a reminder to people with street crossing and in school zones when you are driving. So I just wanted to be able to help get that reminder out there and help get the word out. Now, what is the Lloydminster Rcmp really wanting to focus on?
Well, we just want to make sure the city is aware that parents, teachers, and kids are all excited to get back into their school routine, and the school zones will be busier with pedestrians and even cyclists and motorists. So we just want to remind residents to be vigilant and just be more alert when driving through the city Thursday, Friday, and then moving into the school year. So just some safety tips from the RCMP, just to remind parents and motorists to be alert and drive cautiously. Give yourself that extra time to get to your destination, to get where you're going. With buses on the road and stuff, you may get stuck behind a bus, unfortunately. And just be aware that the yellow lights, obviously those caution lights come on, and then the red lights and the stop signs come out, and we're expecting motorists to stop. Don't pass a bus while it's loading kids up, and keeping that safe distance from the bus. We talk about kiddos walking to school. There's going to be more with the nice weather. Kids are going to be walking, so we encourage kids to use the marked crosswalks and hit the flashers, hit the buttons where they are allocated, and then just walking with a friend as well, and making sure you're using that extra caution and looking both ways when you're crossing the road.
And I know you were speaking a little bit already on the drivers, so I kind of wanted to expand a bit on that. Could you kind of give some tips for drivers as well when it comes to school zones that you would suggest?
Well, we need to be reminded that school zones are a thing, right? So a lot of the areas where there is a park or school, speed decreases to 30 kilometers an hour. So you need to be slowing down in those areas, and do a bit of a reminder as to what the rules of the road are, and stopping for those intersections, marked or unmarked, right? Just being vigilant and yielding at those intersections and taking that look side to side to make sure there are no pedestrians crossing. We want to be reminded that pedestrians do have the right of way at crosswalks and marked walkways and stuff like that.
And for on the pedestrian side of things, for the kids and families, what are some suggestions that the RCMP are wanting to give that they should do instead, on a crazy early morning when it comes to school, that they should do instead of what they're doing right now, to make things a little bit safer for them?
Just giving yourself that time to get where you're trying to get. This getting back into routine can be pretty chaotic, and sometimes we're feeling rushed, and we don't want to feel that way. So give yourself that extra 5-10 minutes to be able to make it to your destination safely. So if the kids are not familiar with the school zone and the walk to school, maybe a practice walk with a parent, is something I'd recommend, so that kids know the path that they're to take and the path that they're to take to come home. And then parents are also aware at what path the kids are taking to get to school and to get home, just to ensure they're safe. And then for kids that might be in that range of 10 to 12, where they're starting to 10 to 16, when they're walking on their own, right? That parents know the routes that their kids are taking is important. And making sure you're telling your parents when you're leaving the house, right? In the morning, to have that time, timed well, so everyone knows where everyone is and where they're supposed to be.
I wanted to also bring up, there has been stories around, of course, showing that kids and families are actually practicing getting on the school bus and being prepared, for their route to school and everything, just kind of getting ready to just know what to do and how to get to school safely, and how the procedure works to get on the school bus. So what is the Lloydminster RCMP thoughts on that?
Yeah, practice is definitely, that's great. And I know the schools are, that's part of their get ready to school planning, is to have those days where families coming to new schools, or just families returning to schools, to kind of get out those first week jitters, right? And allowing for that time, and that even the tour of the school and stuff like that. So it's really important, and we agree that those routines are great to practice before you start. Just a reminder, like, you will see an increased presence of patrolling officers in marked vehicles, as well as our peace officers here around town, just ensuring, and where they're just ensuring speeds are where they should be at, and making sure kids are getting where they need to go safely, getting to the school safely. So
Perfect. So I'm really glad we were able to speak on this and help kind of get that reminder out there for families, just in time with the school year coming up real quick here. Time flies. So once again, thank you so much for joining us, Constable Flynn.
thanks, Shelby.
It was back to school for kids across the border city today, and they were faced with a windy day. With more with our weather forecast here, Shelby Clark.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jace Mackey. Yeah, convenient we had that reminder out there from Constable Melanie Flynn, just to give a reminder for drivers and the pedestrians out there for the school year coming up. And we are here now in the border city for today. And right now we are just sitting at 22, and like you said, seeing some strong winds. If you're standing out there, it was pretty consistent, kept going for quite a while. Wasn't many dead zones with that wind. So pretty strong out there. So it kind of helped cool things down though, for sure, after having a couple scorching days. So it's really nice. We're sitting at 22, and we're seeing a lot more sun peeking behind those clouds. And like you said, first day of school, so this is what they're kind of seeing for the kids out there. Around the morning, they were seeing a slightly cooler morning there with that 12 degrees. Then at recess, it starts to warm up to that 17. Seeing a lot more sun throughout the day. At lunch, they have warmed up to that 21 mark, and now the day out, they are just seeing 26. So definitely we're seeing a pretty nice first start to the school year with a mixture of some sun and cloud. And looking over at temperatures across our region for Alberta and Saskatchewan. On the Alberta side, we have cooled down quite a bit from what we were looking at yesterday, seeing between 20 to 24 degrees in most spots over on this end. St. Paul, Cold Lake, and Lac La Biche seeing the coolest with that 17, 18, and 19 degrees. So cooled down quite a bit today, but it's a nice break for sure. Switching to our Saskatchewan side, they are seeing, looking at the same conditions as what we are seeing on our Alberta side, with those 20 and 21s, especially Green Lake, Meadow Lake, and St. Walburg. Go a little bit lower, and they are seeing the warmest though, with 23, 25 for Maidstone and North Battleford. Macklin is seeing the warmest with that 27, so not looking too bad condition-wise for sure on the Saskatchewan side. North Battleford will go down to a low of 6, so seeing those single digits kind of making its way back here for our evening lows just for tonight. Then seeing 27, so warming up slightly with that mixture of some sun and cloud. Cold Lake will be going down to a low of 7, so cooling down quite a bit from what we have been seeing earlier on in the week. Then looking at 28, so warming up
for sure from what they are sitting at in Cold Lake and seeing a lot more sun throughout the day. And for us, we'll be going down to that low of 7 as well, seeing a couple clouds in sight, then looking at 27 tomorrow. So seeing a good start to our Friday and to our long weekend with a mixture of some sun and clouds. So got a beautiful weekend ahead here in the border city. And now hopefully ending off here with a weather photo submission. Thank you to everyone that submitted some nice weather shots to our Facebook page. You can continue to do so next week. I will use them on my weather segments. So it's from Jolene Classic. Absolutely love it. Gorgeous shot. And that's all I have for now. We'll have more coming up after the break.
Welcome back. The Lakeland Rodeo Association finals are taking place this weekend in St. Paul. Our Thomas Wildman has more.
Today we have Lenny Laws, the judging director for the Lakeland Rodeo Association, and he is here today to talk to us about the LRA finals that will be taking place in St. Paul starting today. And so thank you so much for being with us today, Lenny.
Thank you for having me.
Let's talk a little bit about what exactly the Lakeland Rodeo Association is and kind of what it means for all the cowboys and cowgirls that compete in the Lakeland Rodeo Association and what the specifics of the competition is throughout the whole year.
Well, Lakeland Rodeo Association started in 1979, and as an association, it's here to protect the committees and protect the cowboys. We take all the entries for the rodeos and send the cowboys to compete at the rodeos.
And then Lenny, tell me a little bit about how you qualify to compete in the finals this week, because you can't exactly just enter into the finals, and how important these finals are for the whole season for all the cowboys competing this weekend.
The cowboys compete at the rodeo, and like each rodeo will have a different amount of money added, and they pay an entry fee and compete, and then the money they win at the rodeos takes them to St. Paul for the finals with the St. Paul Ag Society, which hosts the Lakeland Rodeo Association to come here. And the cowboys win their money throughout the summer, and it's the top 10 cowboys in each event over the money they win through the year.
So Lenny, tell us about all of the events that will be running on Thursday, Friday, Saturday throughout, and kind of the itinerary of events and kind of some of the high-profile cowboys that will be competing in each of the events.
Well, there's all events of rodeo, like starts with your saddle bronc riding, bareback riding, steer wrestling, calf roping, team roping, and ladies barrel racing. And then our junior events goes to your junior bull riding, junior steer riding, novice horse riding, and junior barrels and peewee barrel racing for the kids. So it's kind of a family organization.
And Lenny, just what is the entry fee for those who are wanting to come and watch the show throughout the weekend, and kind of when is it going to be starting tonight?
It starts tonight at 7 o'clock. It's $15 a ticket to get in through the door. You can buy a weekend pass
For $65. Youth 6 to 12 get in for $5.
Youth 6 to 12 get in for $5.
$5 and under 5 free.
And under 5 is free.
Thank you, Lenny, for all the information. The finals will be starting this Thursday, and then we'll be going to this Sunday right before Labor Day. So it's going to be an exciting weekend of rodeo at St. Paul Rodeo. And once again, Lenny, thank you so much for all the information.
Thank you for having us here. We're really glad to be here. Thank you.
And now here's a look at today's agriculture prices. The Lakeland Rustlers men's basketball team are preparing for another season of ACAC basketball. However, they'll do so with a lot of new faces. Adil Ahmed has the details.
It's another year of training camp for the Lakeland Rustlers men's basketball club as they get set for the 2022-2023 ACAC season. The team is coming off a strong performance from last year, earning a bronze medal at provincials. This season, however, they will look to build off of that, but with a newer group.
We'll have 9 new players, so it's definitely a whole new team.
One of those 9 is Abdul Al-Tamimi, who transferred this off-season from the Grand Prairie Wolves. The third-year guard averaged over 20 points a game and earned first-team all-conference honors. However, he says there's one sole reason as to why he's here with the green and yellow.
I came from GP to Lakeland to win. Like, if they ask me to score 10 points, 20 points, that doesn't really matter to me as long as we win. I don't really care about that stuff. But like, yeah, talk about like first team all conference and stuff. That doesn't really, as long as we win, you know what I mean? Yeah. All the, like, winning fixes everything.
Another fresh face that's joining the Rustlers this year is local product Bradley Avellino, who graduated from Holy Rosary High School this past June. The first-year guard says the jump from high school to collegiate basketball is an eye-opening experience.
Oh, it's really different from high school, man. If you guys want to play college, you guys got to push yourselves. People here, they're faster, they're smarter, but hey, man, you just got to put in the work.
Through the first 4 days of training camp, the team's energy level has increased significantly, something that's impressed Michael Shelast, who's entering his 4th season with the green and yellow.
The energy levels are very high. I'm very impressed. It's just as good, if not better, than years past, and that says a lot because we've had some great teams that brought a lot of energy, and expectations are high.
Despite the Rustlers earning 2 medals in the last 4 years at provincials, the team does believe they can go further than just the provincial stage.
Nationals, as a team, I think we could go nationals. And for myself, probably like first team all conference again. Maybe try to get player of the year, but that doesn't really matter. As long as we make playoffs, nationals, I don't really care about all that.
While aiming for nationals is the target for the group, the team believes being vocal is another task they can add to that target as well.
We could always work on communication, especially defensively. That's the most important thing on the defensive end, and as we get to know each other better, that's going to pick up, obviously. But yeah, I think talking to each other and being positive and uplifting each other is going to be really big for us.
The Rustlers will have a chance to put those communication skills to the test when they play their first exhibition game on September 23rd against the University of Alberta Golden Bears. Adil Ahmed, Primetime, Local Sports.
And now as we head to break, it's time to take a look at some of our pet photo submissions that we've received so far this week. I want to say thanks to everyone who sent them in to our Facebook page for a chance to win a gift card from the Pet Pad.
Send photos of your pet and their name to our Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram to have them featured on Pet of the Day. Your name will be entered into a weekly draw for a gift certificate from the Pet Pad.
DC, thank you so much for being here today.
I'm so honored to be here. Thank you.
So, what inspired you to write this series?
I am originally from Dominican Republic. I grew up in Salem. So fantasy is something that I've dealt with my whole life, something that I completely love. And I finally hit a point in my life, I want to say about 5 years ago, where I really was like completely miserable. Like I needed to do something creative. And this is kind of the series that was born. So I'm super excited for it.
So the second book, Plague Unleashed, it has won an award in the North Texas Book Festival. It was first place in the YA fiction category. What does winning awards and having your books receive accolades like this, what does it mean to you?
It's really exciting and very humbling at the same time. It's kind of rewarding to see peers that like the book as well, that they can connect with it. But it also really helps other viewers and readers who are trying to figure out, is this book for me? Does this book make sense to me? Is this something that I'm going to enjoy? So that is more to help readers than anything else. I'm always humble. I'm just as humble from winning an award as I am to talking to a reader about the book. So I'm a little bit different about it. I enjoyed it because it's very, very gratifying to realize, oh, they liked it and it did really well. But as long as readers enjoy the book, that's sometimes even better.
How did you choose the setting for your book?
When I decided to write, I wanted to do urban fantasy. I am a huge urban fantasy reader to begin with, and I live in Texarkana. So it is a small town in the middle of anywhere. People have passed by, have driven by, they know where it is, but nobody has stopped. So I wanted a city that was known, yet not really. And I also wanted to give kind of the people, especially the youth in the community, to think about their hometown a little differently. So when you create a book setting that has this many properties and this much supernatural, it really makes people going like, oh my God, this could possibly happen.
What do you think your book brings to its genre?
If you enjoy quirky characters, if you enjoy a lot of action, if you enjoy comedy with your little bit of suspense, this is what you're going to get from the urban fantasy world when it comes to me. I enjoy kind of taking concepts that are very common to people and twisting them a little. So I have made the four horsemen into people, or at least human shape, if you want to call it that way. So death is a woman, pestilence is a woman, war happens to be in general. So you get to take conventional things and take the supernatural and just kind of twist it and have a lot of fun with it.
So, what has the response been so far from readers to your books?
It has been truly probably one of the most fun adventures to have people come. So I have as young as eighth graders read the series and as old as, full adults in their 70s who think is amazing. It always comes back to the idea of wanting to escape. So you can get a little bit of, social commentary in the series if you're looking for it. But now you can just have a really fun action. To me, having such a different and wide group of people just really enjoy it is kind of amazing. And to have people enjoy Constantine as much as I do is always fun.
Does your series have an overall message to it?
The series, as usually most of the books that I write do, it's always a concept of finding your tribe. It's a concept of finding your family and connecting with people. Isis happens to be an orphan. She was raised by her godmother for the most part. And her goal, she joins the military. She's trying to find where she belongs. And it is that mission of finding that family. And at the end of the series, at least for her intern diaries, is you get to see what will you do for your family, regardless whether they're blood or not. What will you sacrifice for the people you love? And Isis has to make those decisions. What is she willing to do for the people that she truly cares about?
What are your future plans for the Intern Diary series?
So, with the Intern Diaries right now, it has 5 novels. So, that series as a whole is complete. So, anybody who enjoys binging on complete series, this is one of those you can pick up. So, it has 5 novels and 3 novellas. At the end of this series, I had that moment that I was really missing my people. Like, I grew up fond of these characters and I really wanted to continue. So, the series has expanded into its own little universe. So now anything dealing with my fantasy worlds and the urban fantasy specifically is all going to be part of the Reapers universe. So I have 2 separate series coming out at the same time. So I have one coming out, books 2 for a assassin series which takes place with Eric, which was in book 2. And then I have a post-apocalyptic in the same universe that takes 60 years in the future. So it's really fun.
So, for people who are interested in starting your series, what do you recommend readers to sort of know going in?
It starts very mundane fantasy. So usually that's kind of want everybody to be aware and progressively builds up. So if you're not into magic and fantasy, this might not be the book for you because it progressively gets more and more intense. At the beginning, you get to start out with the eyes of Isis Black. And she's just a regular, she's an army vet, but she's a regular human. And she knows nothing about this role and is not really prepared for it. A lot of the things you have to realize is it takes place within a week. So her entire journey going from start to like the ending of the book, it's really fast paced and very much involves in her trying to figure out what is going on and what she signed up for.
Thank you so much again for joining me today and having a conversation about your series.
Thank you so much.
Furniture set and design supplied by Furniture Gallery and Furniture House, downtown Lloydminster.
First off, Taylor Ray, thank you so much for joining me this afternoon. It's an absolute pleasure to get you on PTLN. I am so excited to talk about your latest release, I Can't, but that is coming in a few minutes. But first, tell us a bit about yourself and a bit about your music.
Yeah, I started out singing with my dad, and we would basically just karaoke and kind of spiraled where I was probably about 14, 15. He said, you're not too bad if you want to take the reins on this and go. So I moved to Vancouver, did a management course on the industry because it's a gong show, and just went from there. Started a band, and we've just been kind of rolling ever since. And I mean, I love to sing. I grew up singing like or trying to sing all the powerhouse vocalists like Martina McBride, Whitney, all of that. So I feel like my music incorporates a lot of that like soul as well.
It definitely does. I've gotten to know your music over the last couple of years, and I hear all of those influences so beautifully intertwined, so gorgeous. And you brought your sound to a lot of stages this summer. You were busy. You said on your Facebook page, Hot Band Summer 2022. Fully support that phrase, by the way. Absolutely love it. And you spent the last couple of months traveling and playing music with your best bandmates in the game, including a headlining show at Boots and Hearts. So tell me about your summer and which shows you played.
It was insane, actually. This summer was very unexpected and kind of caught me off guard. But I was kind of going into it, had a few things lined up from the year before, Sunfest, that kind of stuff. And then all of a sudden we were playing Cowboys Tent at Stampede, which has been a dream of mine since I was 18 and able to wait in line for 4 hours to get into that tent. And so, yeah, it was pretty crazy and just kind of kept getting bigger and bigger. And then we finished a 5-show and 5-day run at Stampede. And I got an email saying that I was a finalist in the Boots and Hearts Emerging Artist Showcase. So all of a sudden we were packing up and going out to Ontario and playing a show. And so we did like a 10-minute set at semifinals, which was like the biggest rush of adrenaline. And we made it to top 2. So Owen Riegling and I got to play the main stage. It was crazy, very unexpected, but very, very welcomed.
I saw your social media post about it, and you looked perfect on that stage. Like that is exactly where you needed to be. So congrats on that. But also I got to say congratulations to your Fans Choice nomination for the BCCMAs, the 45th annual. That must have been pretty cool.
It was really cool. It's kind of been crazy going since June, right? And we had the BCCMAs in June, and I kind of went from not even knowing what the BCCMAs were a few years ago to now. I mean, I was nominated for Female Artist, Fans Choice, Interactive, that all of that this year, and then I also got to perform. So it's kind of been a dream summer, and I'm a little bit like, how do we keep this going? It's been pretty epic.
Well, we kind of are keeping it going because we have Canadian Country Music Week leading up to the big award show, the Canadian Country Music Awards on September 11th. So tell us a bit about what you're going to be doing that week, because I know you're coming down to Calgary.
I am. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's always nice to be in my home province, but I have a round with Nicole Ray. She's doing an all-women writing rounds throughout the week, which is super cool. So I'll be in that on Wednesday, the 7th, and then Friday I'll have a little set at the Sakamoto party, and then Saturday I'll be in a Blue Jay session at Carter Cadillac.
Keeping it busy. I love it. So yes, Canadian Country Music Week is happening September 8th to the 11th, and I'm so excited that you're a part of it because you have a brand new single out called I Can't. And you said, and I hear it too, that I Can't is about throwing caution to the wind and finally thinking with your heart. So tell us a bit about this writing process of I Can't.
Yeah, I Can't was actually a song that was pitched to me. And the second I heard it, I'm somebody who really tries to tread carefully through things and almost second guess myself to a fault. So when I heard that song, I just kind of felt like that was what I needed to hear. You know, we were kind of going into the biggest summer of my career, and you're kind of second guessing, are you making the right moves? Are we like going in the right direction? Right. And the second I heard that song, I kind of just felt like that was meant for me in that moment. So I knew I had to record it, and I got to work with my producer, Dan Swinimer, who's incredible, and just kind of brought it to life and made it this kind of summer bop.
You really brought it to life. You really made it your own. It was a perfect pitch. Now, I know everybody's going to want to hear the song and know more about you. So tell us, where can everybody find out more about you and get your music?
Yeah, everybody can find my music at taylorrayofficial.com. And then it's Taylor Ray on Spotify and Apple Music, anywhere you can buy and stream music.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Taylor Ray.
Thank you.
And enough with taking a quick look at your 7-day forecast here. We will be seeing a nice warmer day tomorrow to start off our long weekend. Then Saturday and Sunday, look at those temperatures, 33, 32. So got some scorchers ahead for the long weekend. Make sure you enjoy it, but also stay safe, drink lots of water, find shade when needed, and use sunscreen. Seeing that continue on into the end of the long weekend, then seeing that warm streak continue on to next week with 25, 24 next Tuesday and Wednesday, and cooling down next Thursday.
Thanks for that, Shelby. It looks like a beautiful start to September. Really looking forward to it. Thank you all for joining us. For our first hour of Primetime Local News, our second hour continues next.